Hi everyone, this is Jesse, VOCEL's Executive Director. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I'm here to talk with you about another challenging aspect of raising little ones. We know children thrive with routine, and yet sometimes maintaining certain routines is just not possible because some changes are inevitable. But there are actions you can take as a parent, grandparent, or caregiver to help your child navigate this change. Today's podcast content applies to nearly any change that's on your mind. I have friends who are approaching a move to a new city, some who are thinking about a transition to a new school, or welcoming a new baby, or introducing a new nanny, or navigating the loss or passing of a close family member. But even if your life seems pretty uneventful these days, I promise there's still change happening in your world and in your child's world, because it is summer. And summer brings great things, sure, like more sunshine, bike rides, maybe even campfires and s'mores, but it also brings no school, different wake-up times and bedtimes, sometimes babysitters and relatives coming and going, and even the loss of school alone for a couple months is an immense loss of structure. Things can go from being very regimented to either less regimented or differently regimented. And for kids, all that change is a lot. So what's a parent to do? Today's episode is going to set you up with 3 simple routines to bring predictability to your child. And I'm purposely choosing to use the word predictability here because the research doesn't show that kids need complete consistency. It shows they need predictability. And that's good news because it means that everything doesn't need to stay the same. But in the midst of change, building in some routines that do stay the same every day, that will create predictability. It helps our kiddos know what to expect. So here are 3 relatively low-lift, simple, and hopefully fun routines you can start using today. Number 1, start a connection routine. This is the addition of any little moment that your child can expect you to do with them at the same time every day or even multiple times a day. Think of it almost as a secret handshake, but really it can be almost anything. A few months ago, I started giving my toddler a kiss on each cheek at bedtime, just before I left the room. And one time, after those 2 cheek kisses, he says, "Forehead?" and leaned in to bonk his forehead against mine. Yep, a little weird, but okay. Now it's actually become our thing. We do it at daycare drop-off each day and at bedtime too. It's like our own little moment that he looks forward to. And I do too. Amidst other changes, that routine stays the same for both of us. Another type of connection routine could be something you do each morning when your child first wakes up. Maybe you wake them by pitter-pattering your fingers on their back like raindrops, or by placing your palms on their back like an elephant stomping. Whatever connection routine you choose, remember to keep it simple and quick. If it's too long or too intensive, you just won't keep it up. And the purpose here is regular daily use so that every time your child experiences it, it brings them a sense of familiarity and predictability. It's 30 seconds, maybe less, that can be incredibly nurturing for your child and actually for us grown-ups too. Number 2, try to bring some fun to an otherwise tough time. For this one, I want you to think about the hardest routine of the day for your child, or the hardest part of your day. For some, it might be getting them to change out of pajamas and put on clothes in the morning. For others, it's getting them to sit down at the dinner table, or it's bedtime, or separating when they get dropped off at camp or daycare with a babysitter. Whatever the time of day or transition moment that's hardest for your child, think about starting a routine to counteract that, to bring fun and joy to that time. It will help your child build a positive mental association with this time, and that positive mindset will start to become muscle memory for your child as you use it over and over. It'll start to be something they look forward to. For example, maybe your child is a Swiftie. Tell them that from now on, we're going to try blasting Taylor Swift while they get dressed every day. Now, getting dressed may now require a dance break or a lip sync break, but that's likely better than the power struggle you were having before. If sitting at the dinner table is a turnoff, try introducing a simple tabletop game that you play during dinner. Maybe it's that cup game where you have 2 solo cups and a ping pong ball, and you show where the ball begins, move the cups around, and have them guess which one it's under. You could even pass the cups around to take turns. An alternative for older kids could be something like a dinner table show and tell, where everyone gets to bring something to the table and they have the floor to talk about whatever they want for those few minutes. An example to bring fun to camp or daycare drop-off could be as simple as parking in a different spot each day. Maybe it's a block away or across the street, and getting to the door together in a unique way, whether that's a piggyback ride or galloping or skipping or walking backwards, or maybe even twirling for those aspiring ballet dancers. Just remember to think about your child and what will bring joy to them so that it becomes a routine that brings both a positive mental association and also promotes that predictability. And tip number 3, try starting a what's coming next routine. Because while we're on the topic of promoting predictability, does it get much better than starting a predictable routine that also helps counter the unpredictability of the future? I mean, when we think about it, we as grown-ups typically know so much more about what's coming next, what's coming up, than our kids are really ever privy to. So my suggestion here is really dependent on your child's age or development. Toddlers don't have the understanding of time concepts to think multiple days ahead. So for them, their what's coming next routine should really focus on the immediate next. For those little ones, think maybe 2, 3, 4-year-olds, your routine could involve picking them up from daycare or a babysitter, or even doing this right when they wake up in the morning. Here's what you do. Hold up a number of fingers behind your back and ask them to guess how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From here, show them the number of fingers and tell them that many facts about what's coming next. For example, I might pick up my toddler from daycare and say, "Ooh, you were right, 3 fingers. So I'm going to tell you 3 things that are coming next. Number 1, we'll get home and you'll get to watch a Bluey episode. Number 2, we'll have pasta, broccoli, and blueberries for dinner. And number 3, you'll take a bath with lots of bubbles." Now, for an older child, of course, we'd adjust that, but the purpose is really the same. Use some playful way to give them an inside look at what's coming next. For older kids, maybe it's a bullet point list that you jot down on a Post-it note and place it on their bathroom mirror before they brush their teeth at bedtime. Might say, eat cereal, mom drops you at camp, dad picks you up, pizza for dinner, bike ride around the block, bedtime. Again, the purpose is to keep it simple, something you can do on a daily or weekly basis to build in that frequency. Make it something that they look forward to, and while they experience it, they feel a sense of familiarity, warmth, and comfort. So there you have it, a quick one for today, 3 routines all rooted in the power of play. The first was a simple connection routine. The second is bringing fun to an otherwise tough time. And the third is a what's coming next routine. Maybe even start by just picking one and giving it a try. Small steps made over and over again lead to a big impact. Thank you for listening and happy playing.